Picture this. You're sitting across from a woman who is on paper everything you thought you wanted. She's smart. She's beautiful. She's got her own life, her own ambition, her own gravity. And she's sitting right there in front of you. But something feels off. She hasn't fully leaned in. The conversation is nice, but it's safe. The laughs are easy, but they don't quite reach her eyes. You've been showing up. You've been trying. You've been interesting, available, agreeable. And somewhere underneath all that effort, one quiet thought keeps circling back like a mosquito you can't swat away. Why doesn't she feel my energy the way I feel hers? Why am I working this hard for attention that should come naturally? Is she just not that into me, or am I missing something obvious? Am I coming on too strong and not even realizing it? Listen to me, bro. This is not a sign that you chose the wrong woman. It is not proof that you are unattractive, unworthy, or that love is rigged against you. It is not because good women have stopped existing. Here is the truth no one is telling you out loud. She isn't pulling away because you care too much. She is pulling away because you have not yet given her a single reason to wonder where your edge went. And today, I'm going to walk you through the 6 powerful boundaries that, the moment you start living them, quietly rewire how a high-value woman experiences you. Not louder. Not flashier. Just undeniable. By the end of this video, you won't be performing for her anymore. You'll just be the man she actually feels something real for. Let's get into it. Mindset reframe 1 to 230. Most guys believe that attracting a high-value woman is about what they offer. The right resume. The right words. The right date ideas. The right timing. They think chemistry is a checklist, and if they just stack enough impressive things on top of one another, something will finally click. But here's the real truth. A woman who knows her worth is not evaluating your resume. She is reading your nervous system. She is scanning often before she even knows she's doing it for whether you have a spine, whether you have a center, whether you have a line you will not cross, a pace you will not abandon, a yes you actually mean and a no you actually stand behind. A high-value woman is not attracted to perfection. She is attracted to a man whose no feels as solid as his yes. And here is what most men never figure out. Boundaries don't push a real woman away. They pull her closer. Because for the first time in maybe years, you're not blending into whatever she wants. You're standing in your own shape. You're holding your own ground. And something in her, something deep, something her body understands long before her mind does, whispers, oh, there's actually someone here. What looks like a woman pulling back is often just her testing whether you are rooted. Whether you are safe enough to be honest with. Whether your warmth is grounded, or whether it's just people-pleasing wearing a nice jacket. Every point I'm about to give you is a different way of saying the same thing. You become more attractive not by adding more, but by being willing to be less available for the wrong things. And that changes everything. Point 1. Boundary 1. Keep the first 3 weeks slow and intentional. 1. The slow burn boundary. Most guys, the moment they feel a spark, go into overdrive. They text more. They plan more. They try to lock things down before the woman has even had a chance to feel the contrast between who you are and every other guy who slid into her DMs at midnight. They think momentum is attraction. They think urgency is romance. But here is the deeper truth. For a high-value woman, a woman who has been approached 1,000 shallow ways, slowness is the rarest gift you can offer. Not cold. Not withholding. Just unhurried. And here is why that hits so hard. Her nervous system has been trained by modern dating to read fast attention as desperation. Quick availability has become a signal of low investment, not high. So when you slow down, when you don't flood her phone, when you let a silence breathe without panicking, something in her body actually relaxes. She stops bracing for the eventual letdown because she senses, maybe for the first time, that you are not chasing. You are choosing. Let me show you both versions of this dynamic so you can feel the difference. The first version, the one most guys default to, sounds something like, "Hey, I had such a great time last night. I can't stop thinking about you. What are you doing this weekend? Maybe Friday? And Saturday? And Sunday, just in case?" That's not a man being expressive. That's a man auditioning. And her brain, without her even meaning to, quietly registers, "He's already more invested than I am." The dynamic is already off. The second version, the version that makes her lean in instead of pull away, sounds more like, "I had a really good time with you. I'd love to see you again. I'll circle back once I figure out my week." Same warmth. Same intention. But this time, the space between the words is doing half the work for you. Because in that space, she is wondering. And wonder is the most underrated emotion in dating. And when you do that, when you let the early days breathe, the walls between you don't come down because you forced them down. They come down because she stops guarding them. Point 2, Boundary 2, don't become her therapist, advisor, or emotional dumpster. 2. The energy container boundary. Here's the part no one talks about. Most guys, the moment a woman opens up, the moment she vents about her job, her ex, her mother, her anxiety, immediately try to become the fixer. They offer solutions. They tell her what she should do. They validate so hard they lose their own shape. They think being supportive is the same as being attractive. But here is the deeper truth underneath that pattern. A high-value woman has plenty of friends who will validate her. Plenty of coworkers who will offer advice. What she does not have, what she is starving for, is a man who can simply hold space without collapsing into her emotions. And here's what nobody explains. When you become her emotional caretaker, you stop being her peer. The dynamic shifts from partnership to dependency, and even if she appreciates the support, something subtle inside her starts to lose respect for the man underneath the support. Because a man who has no bottom to his own emotional ocean eventually starts to feel like furniture. Present, but not chosen. Available, but not chosen. Let me show you both versions of this. The disconnected version sounds like, "Oh my God, that's insane. You should definitely text him back and tell him exactly what he did wrong. I would honestly go off on him. Actually, let me help you draft the text right now. Here, read this, what do you think? Should we change the second line?" And somewhere in her body, she is thinking, "He listens. But I don't think I would respect him in a crisis." The connected version sounds like, "That sounds heavy. I can see why that's been sitting with you. I'm not going to try to fix it for you. I think you already know what you want to do, but I want you to know I heard it. Now look at what just happened." He held her emotion without drowning in it. He stayed in his own center. And something in her brain is quietly whispering, he didn't fall apart. He didn't try to perform. He just stayed. That's different. And what that does, when you learn to hold without absorbing, is it makes her feel safe enough to bring you the real stuff, not just the curated stuff. The relationship stops feeling like a job you are always on, and starts feeling like a place where both of you are allowed to stand. Point 3, Boundary 3, protect your time like it belongs to someone important, because it does. 3. The time honor boundary. Most guys treat their time as a free, unlimited resource they're supposed to throw at any woman who shows interest. They cancel plans. They drop workouts. They blow off friends. They answer texts within 45 seconds no matter what they're doing. They think availability equals attraction. But here is the deeper truth. For a high-value woman, a man who has no protected boundaries around his own time reads as a man who has no life and therefore nothing interesting to be invited into. And here is the piece most men never get. You are not attractive because of what you do for her. You are attractive because of what you clearly have going on when you are not with her. The unseen parts of your life, your friendships, your mission, your discipline, your weird Tuesday night hobbies, those are the things that make her imagination work. And imagination, bro, is what keeps a woman thinking about you at 11 p.m. when she is supposed to be asleep. Let me show you both versions of this. The version most guys default to, the version that quietly kills attraction, sounds like, "Yeah, totally free tonight, I'll just cancel with my friends and come over. No, I wasn't doing anything, just watching something. Yeah, I can just come over whenever. Tonight works, tomorrow works, whenever you want works." And in her mind, somewhere she won't say out loud, he doesn't seem to be coming from anywhere. He's just available. The version that makes her respect you, that makes the walls start to crack, sounds like, "I'd love to see you Thursday. I have my own thing tonight that I don't want to blow off, but I'll be free after 7. That's it. That's the whole boundary. And what it tells her, without you saying it, is, "My life makes demands of me, and I honor those demands even when I'm excited about you." That is the rarest signal on the modern dating market. And here is what changes everything about that shift. The moment she senses your time is genuinely precious to you, your presence with her becomes precious by extension. She stops taking your attention for granted, not because you played a game, but because your hours are spoken for, and she has to actually earn a slice of them. That's when "I missed you" becomes real, because she actually had to miss you. Point 4, Boundary 4, stop faking consensus, speak your actual position. 4, the authentic disagreement boundary. This one is going to sting a little, so stay with me. Most guys, the second a high-value woman has an opinion, treat that opinion like a quiz they have to ace. They agree. They adjust. They laugh at things that aren't funny. They downgrade their actual position so they don't cause a ripple. They think harmony is the goal. They think keeping the peace is romantic. But here is the deeper truth. A woman who has spent her whole life being admired for being agreeable is exhausted by agreement. What she is starving for, what lights her up at the nervous system level, is a man who has the quiet confidence to disagree without disappearing. And here's what nobody talks about. When a man caves on small things, he is unconsciously telling her, "I will probably cave on big things too." And that creates a loneliness inside her that she will never be able to name. Because she wanted a partner, and what she got was a mirror with no reflection of its own. This isn't a dating technique. This is just what emotional maturity actually looks like in real time. Let me show you both versions. The version that quietly erodes her respect sounds like, "Oh totally, yeah, I mean whatever you want to do is fine. I don't really have a preference. Yeah, that restaurant sounds great even though I don't really like sushi. Yeah, sure, your friend can come if you want, that's cool. I can stay up as late as you want. Whatever makes you happy." And something in her, something she won't say, is wondering, does he have a self in there? Or is he just agreeable? The version that makes her actually respect you sounds like, "Honestly? I don't love sushi. I'd rather try the Italian place. But I genuinely want to hear your pick first." Or, "I like your friend, but I'd actually love the first few times to just be us before we bring other people into it." Look at what just shifted. He honored her. But he did not erase himself to do it. And her brain is quietly registering something it didn't expect. Oh. He's not going to disappear when there's friction. He's going to stay. That feels safe. And when you do that, when you learn to disagree without detonating and without dissolving, the relationship stops feeling like a hostage negotiation and starts feeling like a place where two whole people are actually choosing each other, every single day, on purpose. Point 5, Boundary 5. Keep a standard that she can actually feel. 5. The standards are visible boundary. Most men think their standards are invisible, that what they put up with behind closed doors doesn't leak into how a woman feels about them. They let things slide. They tolerate disrespect they would never tolerate from a friend. They laugh off behaviors they privately know are wrong. They think being easygoing is being attractive. But here is the deeper truth. A high-value woman is not shopping for an easygoing man. She is shopping for a man whose standards she can clearly see, in real time, without having to test them twice. And here is the part most men miss. Standards aren't a list of demands you bark at her on the third date. Standards are the quiet, consistent shape of your life, the way you speak about your ex, the way you treat the waiter, the way you handle being disappointed, the way you handle her being late. The moment she sees that your standards are real, she relaxes in a way she hasn't relaxed in maybe years. Because she finally is not the only adult in the room. And here is what changes everything about that. When she knows you have a standard, she stops testing to find it. She stops poking. She stops pushing. Because she already trusts that the line is real. And the relationship dynamic shifts from surveillance to freedom. And that freedom is what allows her to be soft, open, vulnerable, present, all the things she has been too defended to be with the last 5 guys who seemed easy. Let me make this concrete. The version most guys live in is invisible. It sounds like nothing because it's the absence of any reaction. She flakes on the plans. He says, no worries, totally fine. She cancels 20 minutes before. He says, whatever works for you. She treats his time sloppily and he keeps treating her like she is the most important thing in his universe. And in her chest, somewhere she doesn't say out loud, he says he has standards. He does not act like he has standards. I'm not sure I can trust what he says. The version that quietly rewires how she experiences you sounds like, I understand plans change. I want to see you, but tonight isn't going to work anymore. Let's lock in another night. That's it. Calm. Clear. No grudge. No game. Just a man whose standard is felt, not announced. And her brain registers, he didn't explode. He didn't pretend it didn't bother him. He just stayed in himself. I can trust that. And that moment, the moment she trusts your standard, is the moment she starts behaving like someone who actually wants to be chosen by you, instead of someone who knows she already has you. Point 6. Boundary 6. Protect your peace, especially when she's angry. 6. The emotional anchor boundary. This is the one most couples never figure out, so stay with me here. Most guys, the moment a high-value woman gets upset, panic. They over-respond. They over-apologize. They try to fix it instantly. They ask, "Are you okay?" 11 times in a row. They flood her with reassurance she didn't even ask for. They believe that absorbing her storm is what love looks like. But here is the deeper emotional truth.